Different format today. We are going to try to keep workshops to about 30 minutes, maybe reserve 5 minutes or so for questions if anybody has them, Jonas. But other than that, I'm just going to pass it off to you and let you kind of do your thing.
Perfect. So let's go. Not lose any. What? Very short in the introduction, and then go right away to our workshop topic, which is basically how to use visual techniques for smart contract analysis and how to detect vulnerabilities with code visualization. A very quick team intro. My two co-founders, Jeremy and Kerry, with Jeremy being the CEO, Kerry the CTO. Then we have a team of developers, our head of growth, Raymond, and our advisor, Gerard Persson, who is also a Cantina security researcher and Sparebit researcher. I invite you all to participate today. We will go through a contract which was part of a Sparebit security review last year. So everybody, please feel invited to follow me. Just log in via trustbytes.app. Here's a legend. This might be a little bit overwhelming in the beginning, but once you get familiar to it, it should be very intuitive. So starting right away. So once you open the Trustbytes platform, you see this screen here. We have a page for current contests, mainly Cantina contests at the moment. We have a site for bug bounty projects, and then you would click in this case on personal projects and here on custom audits. For this workshop, we have the project that we are discussing today preloaded under demo projects. So you simply click this drop down here and click on Sonic staking. So we are talking about the beats.fi protocol today, which again was a Sparebit security review last year. And I have it already preloaded here. So everybody who is now still loading, please have a minute or two until you see this screen. This is like basically the start screen once you have loaded a project. And I will just explain it very shortly what is going on. So again, here it's all about to give you a better and deeper understanding of the code base that you are reviewing via code visualization. And the way how we do it is we always have the code on the left-hand side and the diagram, the code visualization, where we visualize every object of the code base on the right-hand side. Here in the right bottom corner, you see the legend that you also saw before in the little presentation. So again, just have a look or two, get familiar to it, and then just start exploring the code base that you're reviewing. Here at the top, we give you some metrics. So total lines of code, and this is not the total lines of code that you would find in this contract here, but all the lines of code that are impacted by this contract. And we give you this metrics, especially for maybe that's more a feature for security firms, but when they scope projects, they want to have a fast and clear overview about the complexity of the project. That's why we give you this metrics here at the top. Then we give you also information about path types and the complexity. So the complexity is all about which percentage is the project code, the assembly code in this case, or standard code, for example, OpenZeppelin contracts. And then you can start exploring. If you right click on the object on this contract that you have chosen before, and here you can now go ahead and click all the different objects that you want to review. So here we separate between internal, private, external, public functions, and also storage variables. Here on the left-hand side, you can see the entire scope of the project. And we also give you some overviews here in the notes. I will just show you how that works. So here you now see all the external functions of this Sonic staking contract. And here in the nodes functionality on the left-hand side in the menu, you can now basically toggle on and off like different objects just to navigate easier through the project. We also implemented a chatbot, but yeah, this shouldn't be part of the discussion today. All right. So in order to start and detect a potential vulnerability that I would like to discuss today, we go ahead and start with this Sonic staking.sol contract here. This beats.fi, which is the Sonic staking protocol or project is part of, is essentially a staking protocol and or liquid staking token, liquid stake token project. And obviously, you have like all kinds of typical staking functionality. So delegation, undelegation, delegation and undelegation from certain validators, and then also delegation and undelegation from certain staking pools. So this is like the basic principle. And if we are now going ahead, we might start with like looking into all the storage variables. So for that, we are just clicking on showing all the storage variables. Yes, this can be quite overwhelming if you have like a first glance at it. However, now you can start and really click through all of these storage variables and look into it. What kind of basically metadata they contain. And you might end up at this undelegate paused storage variable. And this is like a storage variable of type Boolean. And this is like a very crucial storage variable for this staking protocol. Obviously, as a staking protocol, you want to have the functionality to pause the undelegation process in case of an emergency. So if you detect like a vulnerability, or if you have suspicion that there might be an exploit, you want to pause the undelegation process so that users can't withdraw funds anymore, or the attacker in that case. And here we have the possibility to not only see by which function this storage variable is initialized, here in this case by the initialize function that is like part of the Sonic staking contract and the Sonic staking upgrade contract, but also, and especially here in this case, you want to know by which function this storage variable is read by. And here we see this is the undelegate function, which makes sense because the undelegate function basically enables the undelegation process. Okay, so far so good. Now, if we are going back, restart the graph, and now going ahead and looking into the functions. So we start with the public functions. Again, can be quite overwhelming, especially if you start using this platform. However, you can now simply go from function to function, and you see here this undelegate function. Here, this flame, this is basically a static detection that we have implemented. So we have implemented open source static analyzers. So this might be an indication for you to further look into this function. So if we now focus on this function, we see here is the undelegate paused storage variable read by this function. And you can also verify that here in the code. There's under the function, there's this require undelegate paused, undelegate pause. So this is fine. And here you also see that this undelegate function is basically for the undelegation process from a certain validator. So here the validator ID is given or must be given. All right, so far so good. So this seems to be secure. If we are now going ahead, restarting again, and now look into the external functions. And now we can also, same process again, go from function to function, check everything, and you might detect this, that there is an undelegate from pool function. And here you might raise, suspicion may come up in your mind because we checked the storage variable before undelegate pause, and this undelegate paused storage variable was only read by this undelegate function, but not by the undelegated from pool function. And if we now looking here into the code, just focus on the function for better visibility here. We see, and also by looking into the diagram here, we see there's no require undelegate pause, right? So this means in a potential exploit or in a potential attack, the attacker could still withdraw funds from the staking protocol, although there's an undelegate paused storage variable, but it's not set required here. So this is like definitely a crucial vulnerability here that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, the pool can be fully drained by the attacker. And I think it became clear that just by following basically the different objects in the diagram here, it's like very easy to follow the calls and the red passes in order to come up with this vulnerability. Obviously, you would have, or you may have detected it as well by just looking at the code. However, maybe not as fast as in this case. All right. I think my 20 minutes of presentation are almost over already. So yeah, basically that's what I wanted to discuss today. This particular vulnerability and how we can basically detect or may have detected this vulnerability with this visual technique. And yeah, basically now we can already jump into the Q&A.
No, super cool stuff. Super cool stuff. If anybody does have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat side of this stage right now. We do have about 13 minutes left, give or take. So if there's no questions, Jonas, I'll just kind of let you keep rolling if you want to. And if we get some questions, I'll kind of just pop in and ask them.
Perfect. Yeah. So then let me go ahead and maybe discuss a little bit what else we have here for you. So maybe some more functionalities here. So you might have seen these big red dotted lines. And here what we basically show you is like user freeform data. So these calls here from this undelegate from pool function to this create and persist withdraw request internal function. Here we see that there's like basically user freeform data. And we show this because we believe that these are spots where potentially malicious data can come into the protocol. That's why we highlight this. But also, we can essentially get all the parameters from all the calls. Just a moment here. So if we go to external functions again, and just showing this function. Oh, this has no outward path, maybe incoming path. Yeah. But this is like read by this storage variable. So let me just open again. So here we can see this. So if we just focus on this function, we can see that you can basically click on every calls and basically on the lines here in order to get the parameters of these function calls. So not only for user free from data, but for any call. And here we separate between internal, external, inward, outward, and influence paths. Furthermore, next to these flames here that I already mentioned in my little presentation, here this is like basically a sign for static detection. And over time we will continue with like adding more and more open source static detectors to this to this platform. But our goal here is really to not focus on the static detection. This is like more, we see it as an add-on, but it's like really about like giving you a better and faster understanding of the protocols that you're reviewing. But for example, here at this with this burn function, we give you also information about like revert or downstream function reverts. So here we have this burn function, and this little arrow here shows you that we have like a revert downstream. So if we are now looking where this function is reaching out to, so here we see the update function, and we can see that this function has a revert. So we give you all these kinds of different information, and we believe that all these kind of information are like somehow security related. So we really have the goal in mind that we give you all the information that are security related, that are relevant for your security review. And if you have like any other ideas what we should implement here, please reach out here, because we are always keen to add more and more information so that you can basically do a better job. So that's like our main purpose here.
We did have somebody that jumped in, and Carrie did give a brief answer, but I was hoping you might be able to expand on it a little bit. Strapontin asked, is it possible to see multiple contracts at the same time, or do they have to explore them one by one?
So we give you the, obviously you can simply click on the contracts here in the scope. And then it's basically how the contracts are like interacting with each other. So once you clicked on one contract and you start exploring the contract, you see how the contract, if there are any relationships. So we do work on a functionality where we basically give you the full overview, so of the entire project that you're reviewing. This is like still under development. But what we definitely show today is like how the contracts are interacting with each other, if there are like any relationships at all. And you may have seen it, so I can just also pull it up. Here we have like some current contests listed. So if you have like the desire to basically have more contests listed, just reach out to us. Also some bug bounties that we have listed. And then we really separate between like these contests and bug bounties, and here the this is like more the screen or the view for the private audits. So if you have like any ideas here what we should add, please reach out. In general, in order to load a project, you have meanwhile three different options. So you can either upload the entire project folder that you have built locally. You can zip it before, then it's a little bit faster. And we recently just added the functionality to just paste a GitHub link of the repo so that you can basically build and load the project from GitHub. And it may sound a little bit boring, but actually this is like a little bit more sophisticated than it may sound. So what we have done here, we built a GitHub builder because what we do in the background is we need to basically compile the entire project so that we have like all the dependencies and libraries loaded. And like what other open source tools are doing, they basically just view individual, for example, contracts, but they can't view the entire project, all the relationships, libraries, dependencies, and so on. So what we have built here with this GitHub builder, you basically just paste the link, and then the project is like completely compiled. All the dependencies and libraries are loaded so that you have like this detailed view with the diagram that we just showed you.
So I do see Strapontin here is back in chat, and you have about 4 minutes left, so maybe you can personally help him out. He said he's trying this out, and he can't see more than one at a time. He said, Jonas said we could see multiple contracts and their interactions. It sounds interesting, but he can't manage to get it to show sonic staking or sonic staking upgrade, for example. So I don't know if maybe you are able to walk some people through how they could look at multiple contracts, maybe?
Yeah, let's just look at this contract again. Yep. No, okay, here we go. Perfect. So what I meant is simply what I showed by viewing all these storage variables. So let me just pull that up again. We looked into this undelegate paused storage variable, right? So here we were in particular interested in by which functions this storage variable is read by. So we are looking into that. And here we can see like the interconnection. So we have like here the Sonic staking upgrade contract, and we have the Sonic staking contract. And they are essentially, the relationship is here this storage variable. So we see that this storage variable is read by both of these undelegate functions, one undelegate function from the Sonic staking contract and the other from the undelegate function from the Sonic staking upgrade contract. So this is by what I meant by like we are showing like contracts in case there are those relationships. Again, we are still working on a view where we show like the entire picture.
And see, this is why we do those workshops. Strapontin said, "Thanks, Jonas. He wasn't excuse me, he wasn't interacting correctly with the map, but now he gets it because you have shown him what to do. So thank you for doing that."
Perfect.
So,
No, thank you so much
yeah, I don't see
for
any
this
other.
opportunity today.
No,
And
thank you for coming. Is there anything anybody else should know about Trustbytes? Little last words of advice.
yeah, come to the platform trustbytes.app, try it out yourself, reach out if there's like anything missing. You can find us on Twitter, obviously, or X, trustbytes_X. Otherwise, you can also reach out to me personally. Here, best would be, I think, in Discord right away. Otherwise, if you need more information, trustbytes.io. And other than that, yeah, feel free to come to us with any kind of feedback. And best would be if you just try it out and tell us what we can do better in order to make you more effective and more efficient when you review stuff.
Absolutely. It's a great tool, and I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us again. Trustbytes.io if you want information about the company, and trustbytes.app if you want to get your hands dirty and just dive right into it. Jonas, thank you so much. I'm sure we will see you on the Cantina stage again in the very near future. It's always great having you here.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so
Talk
much.
soon. Bye, everybody.
Talk soon.